Welcome, and thank you for joining me for another Random Gaming News, where today we're going to be looking at a few quick mentions I think you guys might like, as well as the indie game Danger Gazer and Pirate Bay and what that all means, Sony not coming to E3 again this year, and finishing up with some of that sweet Smash Direct news that we got yesterday. Make sure to check out the YouTube link that's down there in the description, because that does change every video. It's just some people I think you guys might find interesting. The Discord link does not. That's always to the Discord server where you guys can actually suggest news that you want to hear. Please share this video to help out the channel. That does, I do greatly appreciate everybody that does share these videos. It does help us out a lot here. Hitting the like button if you did enjoy it is always awesome. Subscribe if you haven't already, and turn on the bell icon to be notified of my next video, and let's go ahead and start the show. First up here for the quick mentions, let's talk about Square Enix and Crystal Dynamics. So Crystal Dynamics is making the new Avengers game that was supposed to come out, I think about early summer this year, but now it's being pushed back until September 4th, and it's something that they just want to kind of take their time to polish the game out a little bit to make the experience a lot better for the customer, because they love Avengers and so do we. So I really don't think that that's a bad thing, here, if they want to take just a little bit extra time, because Square Enix is doing the same thing with Final Fantasy VII Remake and pushing that back until April 10th. And, it is something that pushes it past, Animal Crossing New Horizons, so it'd be interesting to see, what's going to happen there. Although they both are on different consoles, I just feel like the Switch is one of those consoles that you probably have on top of maybe a PlayStation 4 or an Xbox One. I know it's probably not everybody, but there is over 50 million of those consoles worldwide. So, and a lot of those are in Japan, where the PlayStation 4 is something of a popular console. So it'd be interesting to see which one that they're going to buy, because, they're both really amazing, style games. Both play completely differently, but it'd be interesting, here in a little bit of time to see how the actual sales numbers rank out. Now, on Monday, I touched a little bit on the Monster Hunter World expansion, Icrborne deleting people's save files, saying that there is something, not a compatible save file for the game, so it would go and write you a new one and erase your entire progress. So Capcom is now coming out with, a patch that's actually going to fix two problems for the Icrborne expansion: the high CPU usage that's dipping frame rates and seeing all other bugs and glitches that come along with high CPU usage, and also going to fix that save file bug that everybody has been complaining about. So there is no word on whether or not the progress that you lost is actually going to come back. It's something that we'll have to wait and see until the patch notes come out. But if you are playing Icrborne and you do get that error message before this patch comes out, go ahead and back out of the game and just play the regular game without Icrborne, so that way you don't lose anything. Lastly, let's talk a little bit about BioShock and Nintendo and the possibility of the BioShock collection coming over to the Switch. So recently a leak came from the Taiwanese rating board that actually rated the BioShock collection for the Switch, meaning that we would get the first, second, and third game all packed in with all the DLC. Now, there's no release date or any word from actually Nintendo or 2K, so we would have to wait and see what they have to say on this, but I really hope that Nintendo comes out with their Direct soon and giving us a little bit more information on everything, because as it stands right now, the only game that I can really think of, just here at the moment, is Animal Crossing Horizon. At least that's the only one that has a release date. So I'd like to know a little bit more about the roadmap for the rest of the year, maybe get that big holiday game that we would usually see from Nintendo. Hopefully here in the next week or so, we hear some news about an actual Direct from Nintendo, because we've got the Pokemon Direct and the Smash Direct, but we haven't really gotten any news other than that. Now I want to take a look at Pirate Bay and how it's actually helping out Danger Gazers. The developer, in a bold move, released a torrent of his game over on Pirate Bay, where you can go and download it and play it completely legal. But he did actually see a 400% increase, although you can go and just get it completely free. And now the developer ShotX did release this earlier this year, January 2nd, on Steam, and it's only for about $10. The description actually for Danger Gazer reads: Danger Gazers, a post-apocalyptic roguelike top-down shooter where you pave your own path, which, it is something that he did also release this game over on itch.io and Pirate Bay and those kind of sites, and he's been getting a pretty good reception from people, because in a TPB on Reddit, he actually explained: there are a lot of ways to show support if you want to without buying the game, such as spreading the word about DG, sharing the torrent, feedback, whatever you can come up with. And I hope that you have fun and enjoy the game. And it didn't stop there. Some kind individuals went out of their way to donate more than twice as much as the $10 purchase price, and I received countless emails from other people who showed their support. I'm thankful that my message was clear and thankful for all the support. And it is nice to see that Pirate Bay is actually being used for a force of good and developers actually benefiting from it, because it does get a bad rap from the industry that a lot of people are just using it to rip games or movies or music, anything alike. But it is something that does help the industry, because if you do, I feel like if you like the product, you're going to go back to that product if you have to actually pay for it rather than going somewhere else. So not only that, it does get a good word of mouth around, because as in this case, he got a 400% increase in sales, and a lot of people paid more than the asking price on different websites. So it's one of those things that it is interesting to see that Pirate Bay, like I said, it's being used for good rather than for evil, and I'd like to see more of that in the world. So indie developers, I'd like to see that when they think outside the box, especially with their advertising, because it is something that they don't really have a whole lot of money to spend on that. They have to spend it more on the game itself, and that's where a lot of them shine, is the actual gameplay. But it's sad because they don't get the actual attention they need, because there's not the marketing push behind it as some of the AAA studios. So if you guys did like this game, or you see the game itself, or you got the torrent, then go ahead and why not go ahead and pay $10? That's a cup of coffee, or 1 cup of coffee in some states, depending on where you are. So why not go and support somebody that's actually making something you enjoyed and get a little bit back on it? And it would seem now that in the second year in a row that Sony's actually not going to be coming to E3, and it is something sad for me to actually think of, because I do like to see big events like that. It's enjoyable for at least me to go and see and learn about all the new stuff that's going to be coming out from all the big three that go there. We have Microsoft, Nintendo, and Sony. But Sony did actually make a statement about them not coming to E3 this year to GameIndustry.biz, and they explained, after thorough evaluation, SIE has decided not to participate in E3 2020. We have great respect for the ESA as an organization, but we do not feel the vision of E3 2020 is the right venue for what we are focused on this year. We will build upon our global event strategy in 2020 by participating in hundreds of consumer events across the globe. Our focus is on making sure fans feel part of the PlayStation family and have access to play their favorite content. We have a fantastic lineup of titles coming to the PlayStation 4, and with the upcoming launch of the PlayStation 5, we're truly looking forward to the year of celebration with our fans. It would seem that Sony's going to be at other world events, just not at E3, and it's one of the things that we're going to get a lot more state of plays, most likely. They're going to the Tokyo Game Show and all the packs that go on, but they just might not be really happy with the ESA, and it's kind of understandable with last year's leaks of all the actual reporters that got their information leaked from the ESA board. I could see why they wouldn't want to be there, but shortly after Sony actually made this statement, the ESA actually came out with their own statement on the matter. E3 is a signature event celebrating the video game industry and showcasing the people, brands, and innovations redefining entertainment loved by billions of people around the world. E3 2020 will be an exciting, high-energy show featuring new experiences, partners, exhibitor spaces, activations, and programming that will entertain new and veteran attendees alike. Exhibitors' interest in our new activations is gaining the attention of brands that view E3 as a key opportunity to connect with new game fans worldwide. This left some wondering what the fate of actually Microsoft and whether or not they're not going to be attending E3 any further either. But Phil Spencer actually cleared this up over on Twitter himself, responding to all these accusations with, "Our team is hard at work on E3. We look forward to sharing with all who play what's ahead for us. Our art form has consistently been propelled by a cross-section of creativity and technology progress. 2020 is a milestone year in that journey for Team Xbox." So it would seem that Microsoft's not backing out of E3 anytime soon, but it does leave a lot to wonder of what's going to happen to years to come for E3 itself, because, a few years down the road, we might not have it in the same state that we actually have it now, because with Sony leaving, Microsoft is already doing their actual presentation across the street from the Expo Center that actually where E3 is held, and Nintendo only shows up with a pre-recorded direct that they show off and then have Nintendo Treehouse for the rest of the week. So it's a little hard for them to spend millions of dollars to come to something that may not be that beneficial when they can show off their own products at their own conventions and get their own money for doing so. So I'd like to know what you guys actually thought about, this. Would you guys miss E3 if it was gone? I know I sure would, because even though they can do their own events and everything, it is nice to see all the developers, because it's not just the big three that come there, but there are a lot of other developers that come there as well, and I'd like to see them still stay around, or at least the big function that E3 is, so that way we can still have the celebration of games and actually the making of games and showing off games and having everybody there to celebrate with them as well. Now let's talk about that Smash Bros. Direct that happened yesterday, where we got some news about the new fighter that's coming to Smash Bros. And that's going to be Bailiff from Fire Emblem Three Houses. He's coming out on January 28th, and I cannot wait. I loved Fire Emblem. It's the first one I've ever played, and I did thoroughly enjoy playing it. If you haven't, you are going to have to play it to understand some of the stuff that I'm going to talk about, but we're still going to go over it anyway. So there will be a male and female character for this that you can actually play, and some hero relic weapons that are coming along with it. And depending on what direction you're using, you can actually use different hero relics and different weapons along with it, and use a chain sword that catches people. It's pretty badass, and I suggest you go check out the direct to really see the full scope of what he can do. But we are getting 11 songs that are coming along with him as well, and they're from Fire Emblem Three Houses, and they didn't want to add all of them because they didn't want to have the entire back catalog of all the Fire Emblem songs, but that was pretty nice to see that we're getting a lot of those. The stage that we're actually getting morphs into 4 separate stages, where it goes from stage to stage and shows from some of the characters from Fire Emblem Three Houses in the background as you're playing. So that is nice to see that we're not just getting one stage, we're actually getting 4 packed into one, so that's pretty awesome. And as well as getting this fighter, we got some Mii costumes. We got Altair from Assassin's Creed, a new Rabbids hat, Mega Man X, Mega Man.exe, and a Cuphead costume as well. And if you get the Cuphead costume, you can actually get a Cuphead-inspired song packed into Super Smash Bros. And this will all be released, like I said, on January 28th, so it's not too far off before we actually get to play as Bailiff ourselves, and I can't wait, because once this guy comes out, you can actually pre-order the next 6 characters that they're going to be making. They do already have them kind of lined up, so he says it'd be kind of hard for him to take any suggestions over on Twitter or Reddit. So go ahead and sign up for those 6 characters if you guys did like the last packs, but he did say that if you did want to wait on them, you can, and you don't necessarily have to get them right away. But it is nice to see that we are getting another Fire Emblem character to the game, even if they do have a lot of them, and it's not just a sword fighter, but one that's coming with his own arsenal of weapons. Well, that's the video for today. Be sure to come back tomorrow for the podcast. This will be the last one for this week, and then we're gonna wait a week and do the other one. Kind of get it back into the rhythm of the every other weekend podcast. And this time we're gonna be talking about Xbox and PlayStation and kind of putting them against each other and seeing what the people that I have on have to say. It should be fun and interesting to look at. Please leave your thoughts down in the comments below about anything that you had in today's video. Please share the video if you guys want to help out the channel. That is the best way to do it. Hit the like button if you did enjoy today's video. Subscribe if you haven't already, and hit the bell icon to be notified of when I make my next video. And as always, I have been Tasty. This has been Random Gaming News, and have a wonderful fucking gaming night.